Avi Numakarv is a phenomenal name, but on the defense, it is going to be this squad, which is Lucidity Gaming. Flying Tortoise will play the Zenyatta. Ziggy D on Tracer. Isaac Birdie, just Birdie on Lucio. Select will play the Roadhog. McCree will be played by Tilde, and Proteges is going to be playing the Reinhardt for this defensive team.
Yeah, so, I mean, in terms of composition, nothing maybe to really catch us by surprise there. They're bringing in some of the standards. Maybe the Roadhog may raise some eyebrows here, but again, not a terrible pickup, of course. You know, you're working with that double tank setup. No Zarya. So again, maybe just hoping to pick up a couple kills and sort of just disrupt the early pushes from the attacking side. But we've got a player leaving the game, so we're going to be BTL for our first match of the day. The dream is real.
You know, just everyone just working out the wrinkles in the machination, as it were. As you mentioned, these teams, no history as far as competitive plays so far. So just kind of getting used to running lobbies, things like that. I think they locked down ZP in one of the spectator modes, and he needs to be able to run that camera. One of the best cameramen in the business. We don't want to lock him down on one team on spectator, of course. So we're going to go back to lobby, wait for everyone to get back in here. And it's actually a pretty perfect time for me to start with my first sellout of the day. Ooh, yeah, we got to talk about a couple of our sponsors. Of course, you guys know Matcherino, and that should kick off your day. Exclamation point Matcherino in chat gives you the code MooBot will hook you up. Go there, GGNA18. Makes a ton of sense as the coupon code. That is $1 throw right into the prize pool. I know I did already. I did my part. I threw my buck in. So help us out with Matcherino. That money goes right to the prize pool. If you want to donate more, we will read your donations in chat. For the most part, we'll see how it goes. And then we do have a new sponsor on our squad too that I want to mention a lot. That is going to be Ting. If you're looking to save some bucks on your mobile bill, we have a network in North America, which is both T-Mobile and Sprint. gg.ting.na gives you 25 bucks already on your first bill, so that's a credit. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention our good friends at owkings.com. Check them out if you're looking to learn some high-level strats, some pro strats. owkings.com, coupon code GOSU will hook you up with a discount there as well. And we're back in the map.
Yeah, we're going to jump in there as well, so not too much for a break there. We already sort of got to hash out the teams there, so I'm a little bit sad you cut off the sellout a little bit early there as well, but we know we'll get you warmed up as well. We know what kind of a rap god Hex can be when he really gets running with the sponsor messages, but that's good. That's what you need, man. You know, like people actually are sitting there like, I wonder how fast he can say it this time. And the fact is, when you've got so much content to go through and you do it in such a nice little package, I think no one can really complain about that. So
I gotta say, Rap God has been the best compliment I've ever gotten in my life. Like I rarely watched Twitch chat, but I don't think a year ago at this time I would have ever expected to be called a Rap God. So it's pretty great going forward though. Pretty happy that people enjoy the sellouts. I mean, like I said, we're pretty selective with our sponsors. So when I do sell you out something, you can trust me a little bit. I do vet these people. I do talk to these people. It's good stuff. Just check it out. If it works for you, awesome. If it doesn't, also fine too. We're just glad you're tuning in. So do you see anything a little bit off of scale here as far as composition goes? It looks pretty standard to me.
Yeah, I mean, like the Roadhog sort of pick up here as well is maybe the only thing that is like out of standard. If you really do consider Zarya to still be standard, but that's my EU mindset coming in, right? I think Zarya is far more prevalent in the EU region than perhaps at NA. I guess on the grand scale, we often sort of do see the Diva or the Roadhog brought in instead. So nothing that's shocking me there as well. I like the composition coming out of Magic here though as well. We're going to see that classic dive comp. We're going to see the Diva and the Winston and the Genji combining now, and that's all good. The proof's always in the pudding here. A lot of teams are very they have to be very, very cautious in how they engage this first fight on top of Big L's here, because yes, you do have that strong dive composition, but the Genji needs to be finding the key targets early on. That McCree needs to die early on, and as well as other key targets like the Zenyatta. So, you know, it's all well and good to have a good setup here, Hex, but you really need to find those targets early on and not let it drag out.
They're going to try to boot right onto the roof. Both of the tanks get in really over the top. Not enough damage coming out to get into the kill feed, but there goes Proteges, takes down his opposing number in the Genji. That Zenyatta is taking out Flying Tortoise down, but it looks like the defense holding sway now as they clean up in the kill feed. A couple nice kills come in late from Hawk. Those flanker classes coming in probably a little too late in that fight, but that's defense holding for the first push.
Yeah, that's right. Hawk is going to be able to back away here as well, I feel, with the Orb of Harmony ticking. So that's all well and good, but like I said, the composition was there for Magic. They had in my opinion, the right picks. But again, when your Genji dies first and you're attacking to a Reinhardt no less, not really ideal. But still, the payload is moving along now. So we're going to see Pinktorin again try and go for the fight. And so Primo Dulce, whichever way you want to put it, is actually underneath here as well. He gets himself the health pack. There's going to be a pulse bomb going up in Proteges here as well. And Primo Dulce getting back into the action. Now, Pinktorin does have spent all the Discord on him, but he's managing to stay alive. Huck falls to Tilde, though. That's a nice little pulse bomb response from Diggy D as Primo Dulce going down. Again, the defense team are holding quite nicely. There's no Tracer, no Winston, and now no Zenyatta available here for Magic, and they're falling apart on their second attack.
They've absolutely focused on these flanking classes, and just composition-wise, I love running a Tracer and a Genji on this map. It looks custom-built for your flankers to have those great routes. You look at like just both the sides on left and right. Looks like your flank should do a lot of damage. I think the timing on some of the flanking has been a little bit interesting too, but they've been taken out early. And when you're running these very kind of squishy DPS heroes and a Tracer and a Genji, if you die early, you're just not going to be able to clean up. I think maybe this next push doesn't work to cycle in a Reaper or something like that.
Well, Primo Dulce's gone in pretty early on here as well, but the Transcendent's getting forced immediately out of Flying Tortoise, and you can see him making sure he spreads that healing over his entire team. And just off the back of that ultimate alone, it was enough here for Lucidity to just weather the storm there, essentially. You can see off towards the side, Huck has been trying to make things happen. He gets on towards Select, but Tilde is still alive. Bubakabra's going to be caught out in a matter of moments here. So despite those key tank and that McCree going down here on the side of Lucidity, it's not enough for Magic to press forward. One thing they're achieving throughout these fights is they actually are making incremental advances with the payload, despite not winning them. So, yeah, they make some progress here as well, but this is definitely nose to the grindstone kind of stuff.
It's one of those things, I think, with the dive composition that if you're going to go dive comp, you need to go all in on that dive comp. Your D.Va and Winston have to be together. You run it with your Genji and your Tracer as well, following those up. So you're running a really aggressive force squad. Here comes the next push.
Yeah, Pink Tauren there manages to get into the back lines as Tilde's trying to use the Deadeye. He actually manages to finish him off there, and the Dragon Blade is coming out. He's got the Orb of Harmony, which will help him stay alive at this stage. And this looks like a much better fight coming out from the side of Magic here. Primo Dulce coming in towards the back line. He had another Primal Rage to use at that point. And he will be able to get the kill as well, falling to Ziggy D eventually, but again, that Tracer has to fall back. So 3 unsuccessful pushes, they get it on the 4th there. It's not terrible, but still with only 2 minutes to get through this very treacherous part of the map, they're going to have to be hot-footing it.
Yeah, but when you're running a Genji and Tracer like that, neither of them do enough burst damage outside of ultimates to be able to take down the composition that defense had. What you need is your tanks in there to soften them up, to start off the fight. And really, your Genji and Tracer are your cleanup crew, and they're really hard to escape. You can't get out of the fight without dying to them. That's exactly what they did there, running a much more coordinated push there. Paid dividends for them.
Yeah, and you can see Primo Dulce as well. He's attracting the attention of pretty much 4 players from the side of Lucidity here. That's allowed the payload to move under that bridge. Now we're going to see a self-destruct coming over the top. That actually catches out Proteges as well. That's a key tank being fallen here already for Lucidity. Now the sound barrier is going to come out, and the refight's going to come back in. It's the unknown as well, just trying to boot people back to stay alive. Primo Dulce just knocked around that fight, and Flying Tortoise has got that Transcendence up for his team. Select going to be glad to benefit from that one here, but the defenders are dwindling away. They've lost some of those. At least they're not in position. Now the sound barrier coming up from Magic now as well. It's going to be Isaac for the CD all fall in short shrift, and Huck as well, managing to finish off Select. This time at least, those tanks were doing that initial damage there. We were seeing Huck able to clean up at the edges of the fight. So they've saved themselves a bit of time here, and they'll definitely get to this next checkpoint within a reasonable amount of seconds.
The tanks created a ton of space too, which let Unknown feel very safe throughout the entire fight. You saw the super late sound barrier there just to finish it off, but that's because he didn't have to pop it earlier. That's just kind of a victory sound barrier there as he pops it into the Dragon Blade to make sure that they're going to win this next fight. They blaze through this street phase, and it just looks like that their comms and coordination have finally synced up.
Yeah, well, they've managed to make it work. I mean, that first point of Big L's is always a bit weird. Some teams don't really know how to approach it. Even if I guess it kind of seems fairly black and white, you sort of walk up to them and try and jump on top. But again, that's only half your team can do that. So you do have to be fairly prudent in how you select your engages. But yeah, great streets phase. Like you said, Pink Tauren already trying to go and flank here for Magic at the moment. And Primo Dulce and Sulfuric Tide will be doing the shielding work. Proteges is briefly stunned up, and Select has already made the switch towards Farrick here. We'll see how much damage he can spread over the back of this fight. At this stage, it looks like the defensive team are happy enough just to back up there. Proteges, though, caught a little bit too deep. Ziggy D has to join the rest of his team. This could be nasty. The self-destruct Select falls there as well, but Huck already got himself 2 off the back of that fight to switch away from Tracer to McCree. Definitely seems to have worked.
This D.Va ult has been phenomenal. In a pro-level play, at high-level play, if you get 1 kill off it, you've done your job as a D.Va there. Really nice Earthshatter comes in down from Proteges, trying to bring this back for the defense as Tilde continues to clean up. Proteges does pay his life for it, but now defense has respawned. Any death on the offense is going to be rather permanent.
Yep, yeah, you did right there. Sound barrier coming in, but of course the Transcendence is also being used. A lot of defensive ults coming out from Magic here. They were so sure that they'd be able to finish off on that push, and it's actually not really worked out for them. They've lost a few plays here now, and Sulfuric Tide is left on his own on the payload. It's going to be a quick dispatch there on the D.Va, and 2 key defensive ults being burnt there for Magic for I'm not really sure what reason.
Well, yeah, you just want to make sure you win those fights, I guess. So a lot of switch-ups have come out here on the defensive side, too. We saw the Pharah very briefly. That seems like a sentence I'm going to be saying a lot. Saw the Pharah briefly. Select is going to be on Genji. Now, Ziggy D actually did a ton of work, knowing that Sulfur on his D.Va has been a big issue for them. So going with that Zarya to get the Ghostbuster speed. Here comes another D.Va ult.
Yep, up towards the back there. It doesn't catch anyone this time, but Huck and Unknown are able to make it happen there for their team. He's now going to use that Deadeye being harassed by Protege. The monkey falls down. He tries to stop the Deadeye from coming through, and instead he himself is shut down. Huck comes forward, gets flashed on out there. Ziggy D takes him down, and now, again, the attacking side of Magic are falling apart. Nubacabra having to jump over the top there, but he's run out of teammates, and he eventually becomes the object of focus. It's not going to be a finish here for the side of Magic. It will be a close one in the end.
Yeah, they do pull it back. I think just really nice compositional switches there towards the end. They were just looking for the answer to that puzzle, trying to find the different comps that worked. We saw them roll through about 4 or 5 different heroes on the last side there. So they were definitely trying to take into account what was the problem, what was pressuring them. Nice compositional switches from this team to stop them on the defense. Now win condition is rather easy. They finish the map, they win it, they move on.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a best of one here as well, so any mistakes you sort of make can really come back to haunt you at this point. I like the switch. We saw Ziggy D switch towards the Zarya there, and also we saw the Mercy come out from Isaac Birdie. So I don't know if the Lucio was really necessary there. So it's fair enough to pick up the Mercy and give yourself more of a stalling chance. It gave him the win in the end. And that's what you want to see, really. Quite a different team composition. If you think of it, they come out with the Lucio and the Roadhog to begin with, if I'm not mistaken. So I like a good flex tank that can actually, switch it up there a little bit. I think the Zarya is really, really good. I think sometimes some teams underrate it a little bit. Obviously, her playmaking potential is second to none.
Yeah. Well, Sulfur had stayed alive on his D.Va very, very long because they had nothing that could go through that defense matrix to actually push him down. So that's why the switch into Zarya made a ton of sense. There were times where they would put the Discord on Sulfur and they would just move it off to someone else, which is almost unheard of. Usually if you Discord someone, it's on them until they die. But Sulfur had been doing so much on his D.Va that they had to find an answer for it. Ziggy D on the flex onto Zarya was great. You will find no bigger fan of Zarya than myself. So you say it's EU meta. I hope it's every meta. I think Zarya should be on every team all the time. I don't see any reason to never run Zarya. The ult's the best in the game. The utility's great. The DPS is great. Survivability's great. Every team should run a Zarya. Neither of these teams are.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that you still see Zarya, and I think Kai, for example, is an excellent Zarya player, sort of one of the best. So it's not like you don't see it in North America. I just think it's maybe not as prevalent sometimes overall. But yeah, interesting team composition here for the defenders. Huck's going to be on the Soldier 76. There's also going to be a Hanzo and an Ana in the mix. And a Mercy. Just weird. I don't know what to say about this.
It's fun for first point, actually, because you do already have that inherent defender's advantage on the distance. They're going to try to really capitalize on the distance damage here, but as the offense continues to push forward, that distance gets less and less.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Soldier 76 good at that long range, but eventually he's got no choice but to go and try and start up a fight there. Now, Flying Tortoise falls down first, so defender's advantage here. You can see Nubacabra right in the back line again, just trying to heal up, trying to get a little bit of damage across. Select might have to go hunting for Pink Torrent here, but Unknown is going to be trying to heal him up the whole time, and eventually, one Shimada brother gets the win. It's going to be the Blue Dragon this time to get out on top. Select falling down as well. At least Tilde able to pick up Pink Tor, and you can actually see that for the most part, the attacking side have actually tried to use the underside of Big L's here for protection from the top. This payload is still moving. They haven't managed to stop it at all. And now Flying Tortoise comes back into reinforce. So there are players coming in here for Lucidity to keep them on their feet, to keep them with momentum. Primo Dulce is forced up on towards the payload here, and he's going to have to fall. He tries to go for a charge. Oh, the bait may have come in there, but a very late nano boost still causes that Reinhardt to fall.
They are going to continue going here. It was a brilliant looking defense at first because they had every angle covered, but as soon as that Hanzo fell, then they had a whole lot of sightlines to work in. As this offense continues to push, Select cleans up Huck at the end. That is going to be first point captured here. They make a pretty nice time. That defense is great when everyone's alive. As soon as one person falls, all your angles, all your crossfires go to the wayside, and the offense gets to push in whatever angle they want to.
Yeah, I don't know about that team. I mean, we saw the Ana, or Ana as you guys call her. I'm Aussie, so Ana is the way it goes. A very, very late nano boost there as well, and you can see the desperation coming from Primo Dulce to try and make a play happen, but he already was very, very low in health. So Yeah, giving that one a little bit cheaply, Magic have, if I'm honest here. But now we're going to see Select just harassing out towards the side. He's going to force Nubacabra away. He does have a Discord Orb, so he doesn't need to respect the potential damage coming his way. That's a great hook, but that's going to start this fight off quite nicely. Prumid also comes down. He's not going to be able to get Earth Shatter. It's going to be responsive Earth Shatter coming out from Protege. He hands up.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Watch this, Res.
Ridiculous. Oh, it just doesn't get across there as well. We saw the Transcendence for the attack. But again, they're going to have to get the spike round out the hard way here. Sulfuric Tide would help me. Will fall down on towards a point there as well. Nice setup fight. Missed Earth Shatter as well from Magic. Not going to help them.
Yeah, a really nice fight. I think they kind of expected that Resurrection to come in really late, which it did from Unknown. But Ultimates, no one's really got anything on the board. That was a giant Ultimate battle there. Everyone using everything they had going through there. So they're going to try to stall this out and make sure that they can't come in here. It's one of the hardest points to reinitiate. Here comes the tank play in over on the tank, but they both die. It's 4v6 already.
Yeah, Huck just gets hooked immediately as he jumps off that platform. Doesn't get too much for it at all. Don't even know if he needed to jump off there. Ziggity's going to get another hook in, and he captures onto Nubacabra. An attempt here from Magic to try and keep this one going, to keep the payload in stasis, absolutely getting them nowhere here. Everyone on fire on the side of Lucidity, and the end is in sight. 3 minutes 45 left.
Route 66 is one of those maps, and as soon as you lose first, you have to have a legitimate conversation with your team up. Should we just hold last then? Because it's so hard to hold second. You see the reinforced lines there through those small hallways, and I will shout out to, we like to see players here just kind of make names for themselves. Tilde has been playing a phenomenal McCree today.
Speaking of which as well, Pink Tor and another player we saw feature heavily in the first half. He does have the Death Blossom available, but Select is going to come in and shut him right on down. No one can stand up to the Dragon Blade. It's going to be Unknown also to fall. He's looking for Nubacabra, but has to turn his attention elsewhere. A couple quick kills there coming away from Magic is just going to allow Lucidity to push up on towards this point now. Desperation's going to come out. I don't think Magic have time to get it done. Tilde's just going to stand there. Style points and zoning potential of Deadeye gets it done, and that's going to be the victory to Lucidity.
They do move on. That is a best of one. That's how our format is rolling right now. They get the chance to face against Barcode, who is a team just full of Overwatch talent individually. We'll see what they can bring together as a team, but that's why we wanted to bring you this match. This team is going to be playing against a team with Mendo, I believe Legit's on that team, Slasher, Wonderfuls, like name after name. I'm forgetting two, but you'll recognize the two when we get there. So that is what they have up next. A decent map. Route 66 is interesting, and they never slowed down. That first offense just rolled all the way through. As soon as they got their very first pick, that card never stopped.
Yeah, and I like the composition that Magic brought out there. I thought it was interesting at that first point, sort of the Ana Mercy combo, Soldier 76 in the mix there as well. But I also think Lucidity played it very, very well. They spent a lot of time inside Big Elves or underneath there as well, preventing, well, at least forcing, I guess, Magic to jump off the top and actually take the fight to them if they wanted to stop that payload moving. So, they dangle the payload in front of the face of the defenders and say, well, if you want to stop this, from happening, you're going to have to come down and take the fight to us there as well, which, as we saw, ultimately was won out by Lucidity. So it was an interesting start here. I think Lucidity are going to have a very big challenge up next, but it's a nice prelude to build into our next game.
Yeah, but it is still a best of one in the next game, too. So anything can really happen in these really early rounds as well. I think people would expect Barcode to go through, but this is just kind of a thrown together pickup game, if you will. It's like the Discord Pro Chat pickup game team is what it looks like. It's Legit, Wonderfuls, Mendo, Clamp, Slasher, Scythe, and Steel on this team as well. Oh, yeah. So everyone's got someone to root for and or against in this next matchup. It's going to be a best of one. Barcode is going to be the next team we see. So it should be interesting. I think people would expect this Barcode team to win, but mostly just based on like gutting it out and doing mechanics, because I don't think this team has had a whole lot of time to gel as a roster just yet.
Yeah, I mean,